Hello, this is me, and this is my plant, and this is a book that I found in the near the bin, near where I live in North London, and it's called Crystals Are for Kids. Now, I wanted to share this because for me, I find it very funny, and I thought it would be interesting, well, for me at any rate, to express exactly why I think this book is A, very silly, and maybe not all that great of a thing to give to children. So it's called Crystals Are for Kids. It's by Leah A. Stinnett, and she was apparently given this book by the Archangel Michael, who, with his loving guidance, she has been inspired to write several books that promote spiritual awareness in children and their families. So she sounds like what they call a channeler, in that she claims to be possessed by the spirit of some being. There's been a few of those over the years, but she apparently is channeling the Archangel Michael. And this cost $6.95 and was printed. It's still available, actually. You can still buy it in 1996. Now, I have scanned this, and I'll link to certain pages in the PDF. Now, I feel that because it's a review, it's a critique of this book, I'm not really worried about getting any copyright issues. So I'm not going to quote wholeheartedly from it or anything like that. I just want to put that up front. And let me tell you that this book, it's strange. So we start with being introduced. It's Chris Crystal, who will introduce you and other members of my family: Amy Amethyst, Rosie Rose Quartz, Charlie Citrine, and Sam Smoky Quartz. And to tell you how to feel better about yourself, how you can use crystals to heal yourself and others, get better grades in school, feel closer to God. So that's changed quite quickly. And here is a pyramid. Now, anyone who is familiar with this kind of esoteric, mystical kind of world will be aware that they flipping love pyramids. So what's she going to say about pyramids? Well, she is right when she says that the Earth was formed millions of years ago. Gases from deep within the Earth's structure mixed with seawaters that was 200 degrees in temperature and full of minerals. I presume she means Fahrenheit. As gases and seawaters combined, the first crystals were formed. Yeah, I mean, that is true. But what's interesting is people like this often mix in something that is true and then immediately go into saying, it is believed that the ancient Lemurian and Atlantean peoples built huge pyramid structures with large crystals placed on top, which presumably is the pyramid. She then goes on to say that the Atlantean people used crystals as a free energy source to operate the cities, lighting, healing work, and to communicate with their forefathers from another galaxy far away. Bear in mind her name is Leia. And apparently the Atlantean people managed to destroy themselves with their crystal power, so I'm not quite sure that that's a positive. But according to her, they blew themselves up with crystals, but before that, they imparted secret knowledge into the crystal. Now, immediately, I'm thinking, if I gave this to an 8-year-old, they are not going to be able to tell what parts of this are true and which parts are extremely fanciful, because it's presented like a factual book. It's got information in it. The crystals have been anthropomorphized to make it more appealing to children, and yet we're talking about the Atlantean people hiding secret knowledge in crystals that apparently you can listen to if you listen to a crystal. You can put these crystals under your pillow, better understand your dreams, help you change your feelings, help you focus, concentrate, and feel closer to God. She also claims that crystals can change your molecular structure, which is terrifying because she also advocates wearing them around your neck. The book goes on after saying that crystals contain secret information from Atlantis. The Lemurians, by the way, never make another appearance. She also goes on with the usual stuff I've seen crystal healing people do, talking about cleansing the crystals by holding it up to the sun, or even washing it in soapy water, which will definitely clean your crystal. It depends where you've put it, I suppose. Using crystals to transfer mental energy. She presents a telepathy exercise here and says, don't worry if you don't get it the first time. Some people are better givers than receivers. I guess that's true. Telling you to go to a crystal shop, select crystals. With whose money? I don't know. And then it says things like picking up the crystal to clear out other people's energy, blow on the crystal. Okay, well, we should do that. And of course, all of this stuff is kind of creating a mythos and an idea around these things, around crystals, to make you feel that they are somehow magical, of course, surrounding it with ritual and significance when these are effectively just pretty rocks. And again, aiming this at children, presumably in a family where people believe that crystals do something, I find is so misleading. You're saying to children to tune in with their third eye to the crystals. Also, at one point, there's a meditation exercise, let me find it, where you can imagine yourself inside the crystal. Let me find the page. And goes on to say that you should go inside the crystal. What do you see? What do you hear? And then suggest to lick the walls of the crystal to find out what it tastes like, and then feel at one with God. So at this point, any kid I know who said, I went inside the crystal and I tasted the crystal and then I saw God, I would immediately be kind of concerned about this child, obviously. It also suggests using things like citrine for a stomach ache. If you chant to your crystal and say, you will cure my headache, you will cure my headache, it will cure your headache. And this worries me for various reasons, not least something like my nephew had appendicitis a couple of weeks ago and he went to hospital. He had to have his appendix removed. The surgeon described it as a big balloon of pus. Now, I'm sorry, but that's what the surgeon said. And if instead of telling his parents, hey, I've got a really bad stomach ache, and they took him to hospital, he decided to hug a citrine instead, that concerns me that it might encourage some children to say, ignore. Let me find the picture of the child cuddling the citrine to cure their stomach ache. There she is. She's going to cure a stomach ache with the citrine. And that worries me because I feel like by the time they realize that the citrine crystal just isn't working, they might be very poorly. And this, again, is an ongoing problem with people into alternative medicine, quack medicine, pseudoscience, is they do have a tendency to treat themselves with this kind of stuff. And by the time they go to a real medical professional, sometimes it can be too late, or they need much more extensive treatment than they would otherwise have required. There's all sorts of examples of that, and I'm sure I don't need to tell you how dangerous that can be. So this concerns me, as I said, in various ways. It then mixes in the crystal stuff with chakras, weird sort of religious pseudo babble, balancing your chakras. I'll try and drop in an image of this. This appears to be a child balancing a crystal on their backside for reasons I can't fathom. And yeah, I'm kind of glad that I picked this up and took this out of the world. And I wonder what kind of parent, especially, this is London. This isn't some weird commune in Arkansas or whatever. But I wonder who on earth would have bought this for a child in 2025 in North London. It feels a very strange thing to have discovered. So I hope that I've in some way expressed my irritation with books like this and tried to be a bit more clear about exactly why I find these irritating and borderline dangerous, but also, I'm going to be honest, hilariously stupid at the same time. So there you go. Crystals are for kids, and hopefully I'll be able to drop in also my daughter reading aloud the poem at the end from Chris the Crystal. And thank you very much.
Like a diamond in the sky, my love and light shines down tonight, and holds you in my tender care. No harm shall come, it wouldn't dare. I am a friend no matter what. I don't punish or hurt or shout. I help you grow to God's own love, and point the way to heaven above. Little ones, sleep on tonight, for I am here to light up the night. Though small might I be, I have much to share. As you reach for the stars, please know I am there.